Welcome to another Decision Point live stream. I'm your host, Andy Case, and as always, with me is Steve, the Hitman Scaladesi. And just so you guys don't forget, of course, this show is brought to you by Underdog Fantasy, where you get 100% instant deposit bonus. We're talking daily fantasy, best ball. They've got all kinds of different formats and pick'ems for fantasy sports, and it's 100% instant deposit bonus. You put in 10, you get 10. You put in 100, you get 100. I'm excited, guys. We got a lot of fun questions to answer tonight. Plus, we are going to open a couple packages live tonight on the stream. It's going to be a lot of fun. If you're new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button, that little bell notification icon. And of course, hit the like button if we're doing a good job. Let the YouTube algorithm know we're doing a good job. Steve, how's your evening, sir?
It is going great, man. I'm about 8 coffees deep here and just loving life, man.
8 coffees deep. You got to drink a lot of coffee, right? I know, I'm sure your screen time is out of control like mine is, just with all the crazy NFL news. The historic offseason that we're having is actually really good for the football card market. I mean, staying busy, listing cards, trying to stay up with the news, and just like listing the players that pop off, get big beneficial trades like Tua Tagovailoa, and most recently yesterday. Got Joel in the comments here. What's good, man?
Yeah, I know that maybe a couple months ago we were talking about young QBs that we liked, and we were talking a bit about Hurts and Tua, and there was a good amount of negative, a little bit of resistance to that. I know guys are questioning of the Tua QB situation, but obviously, maybe Miami doesn't think negatively of him because they're building around him.
Absolutely, and Tua is from Florida, so I think it was kind of a fit. I think Miami definitely won in that scenario. There is no receiver that can separate in the NFL like Tyreek Hill. Man, are you kidding me? It's like this is going to totally change how defenses play the Kansas City Chiefs moving forward. I mean, they couldn't they couldn't cover Tyreek Hill, so they're forced to play a certain way, and now no Tyreek Hill, so this is going to change a lot of things. I know they bring in Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and he was clocked in 1 week of last year running 22 miles per hour. It was like half a mile per hour higher than Tyreek Hill's top speed. But Marquez Valdes-Scantling is totally different build of a player. Yeah, he's got some top end speed. He's also got a little bit more issues with drops. And he's a different build. I don't think that's a like for like swap there, if you ask me.
No, as of right now, I think the biggest benefiters of the trade are obviously Kelsey. I think that Clyde Edwards-Helaire would be next, and Juju. It remains to be seen how big of a role he has, but I think that his role is definitely more prominent now.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Now, before we dig into the mailbag, all right, so we're gonna pull up the standings in the NFL. We're gonna go through each division real quick, and we're gonna kind of run down where we think the teams are currently standing and which players benefit the most in terms of football card investing from all these trades and free agent acquisitions that have gone on. But before we do, guys, if you're not familiar, we do have a Discord and a Patreon over at patreon.com/footballcourt. So if you want to take advantage of all the extra bonus content and the giveaways that we do there, check it out. It's only $6 per month. So let me shout out a couple guys in the chat here. Joe Garza, always first to the show, man. Joe, you're a good man. Crazy week. Tua, we want to talk about his card values because Tua, in my eyes, is definitely a buy, Steve. As long as his card values are still, 100% lower or more lower than Justin Herbert and Joe Burrow, and potentially even lower than Jalen Hurts. It's like this is the make or break year for Tua. If he does not go out and ball out with all the weapons that he's got in Jalen Waddle, now Tyreek Hill, Mike Gesicki, potentially still Devontae Parker. Plus, they brought in Raheem Mostert at running back and Chase Edmonds. So it's like the speed. I don't think there's a faster offense in the NFL than the Miami Dolphins at this point.
Yeah, and I think that that organization got a lot of heat 3-4 years ago when they just traded their whole team away. But this is what happens in a proper rebuild. You have to suck for a few years, but clearly they did something right because look at all the guys they're able to bring in.
Boom. They did it. What's up, Denny Korn? Rodney, what's good? Yeehaw! Let's get it. Let's get it. What's up? Jets crazy. Matt Vescovi in the house. Brad Hollimore, what's gonna going good, man? Jalen Waddle gonna feast now with Tyreek making the safeties follow him. Hey, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how the target share shakes out. Obviously, you got the whole shower narrative with Tua and Jalen Waddle from college. And a lot of people may have forgot, though, that Tua in 2018 in the SEC was top 5 in deep ball numbers. So the guy may not have the strongest arm in the NFL, but I would say his arm is probably as strong, maybe splitting hairs, the same strength as like Joe Burrow. It's not. We're not talking the canon of Justin Herbert or Josh Allen, but I definitely think Tua's got a strong enough arm with the kind of separation that those receivers can make. It's going to be really interesting to see. So this is a perfect parlay. Bob, what's going on, man? He likes Jasicki, first catch. DC4 should blossom this new season. Maybe it's my brain getting fried. Help me out here, Steve. What's he talking about DC4?
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. DJ Chark, maybe.
Oh, DJ Chark in Detroit. I'm pretty dense sometimes, so. Shelly, sad days in Atlanta. Well, you got Marcus Mariota. Not only that, but you guys got some draft picks now. I know you don't really have many receivers left besides Kyle Pitts, but you got to be excited about Pitts. Mariota, he gets a fresh start in Atlanta. He is one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL, so obviously you look at the NFC South, we're going to look at divisions. It's going to be tough, but you don't know. Like, I don't know if you watched any of the Liberty Pro Day highlights, Steve, from Malik Willis, but this guy is now trending to be a top 5 pick in the upcoming draft. I mean, his deep ball looks incredible. He also runs a sub 4.4. I mean, so you're talking incredibly athletic, incredible deep ball now, what we've seen in his workouts and pro days. So people are getting excited about some Malik Willis.
I saw a couple of his throws yesterday. It looked pretty good. And you know what? That is good to be able to do. Will it translate to on-the-field production is a question, but, I think the time will tell with that.
DC4 is Derek Carr. Okay.
Roger that.
DC4. All right, Derek Carr. Yeah, I mean, the AFC West is nuts. This is perfect. Let's go ahead and pull up. Let's talk about that. AFC. Let's start with the AFC West. How are you going to rank that division? Who comes out on top? I mean, how much are the Chiefs impacted, right? They bring in MVS. They also get a couple picks. Arguably, the back end of the first round is now seeming to get more and more wide receiver needy, with Devontae Adams from the Packers going to the Raiders, going to DC4, reunited with the Fresno State Ballers. That offense is going to be nuts. So how are we ranking the AFC West? You got the Chargers that have added key pieces to their defense. It's just crazy. I want to hear your thoughts on how you're going to rank this.
Oh man, it's kind of a crapshoot, to be honest with you. But if I'm being completely honest, I think that the team that suffered the most is the Kansas City Chiefs. Honestly, I think that the Raiders or the Chargers will win the division.
Raiders or the Chargers win the division. I'm going to go Chargers. Matt in the chat thinks of Brian. I want to hear from you guys in the chat. What's up, 402 Collector, our content director? He's here for the chicken wings. I don't have chicken wings, but I do have a package to open here shortly, so that's going to be fun. I'm gonna go Chargers because of the improvements on the defense. You still have all those key components on the offense with Eckler, with Herbert, with Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Josh Palmer. I think that offense is going to be insane. And then they bolstered the defense with J.C. Jackson, with Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa still there, Derwin James. I mean, it's nuts for the Chargers right now. I also heard oh no, that was the Rams. We'll talk about the Rams. I was going to say, I was remembering Bobby Wagner was visiting with somebody. I think it was the Rams.
Yeah,
he was looking at going to.
What's interesting, Andy, is if you look at in line with what you just said about the Chargers, if you look at the points allowed column, it's very high, right? And it's actually in their points for is just below KC. So if you adjust that points allowed due to the improvement on defense, they're definitely going to be fending for a top spot there.
Yeah, they got to be contending for a top spot. I think that this trade is going to ultimately backfire on the Chiefs. Is just my spicy take prediction. I do not think MVS is going to shake out to be anywhere near the level of Tyreek Hill in that offense. I don't think Mecole Hardman can step up in that role either. I think Juju is more of a big body slot receiver. I mean, I do think Juju is going to command a 20-25% target share in the offense, as well as Travis Kelce. It's going to be interesting to see if they're able to draft like a Garrett Wilson or a Chris Olave or somebody very fast the back end of the first round of the upcoming draft. They're going to need to for Patrick Mahomes to kind of strengthen this offense because they lost. I mean, the chemistry is not going to be there outside of Mahomes and Kelce. They lost Demarcus Robinson, Byron Pringle, and now Tyreek Hill. So you're right. I think the biggest benefactor here, we're talking Kelce, maybe Clyde Edwards-Helaire if he could stay healthy. But I think that the Chargers take this division. I think that the Raiders are in second. This is crazy, though, because we got the Broncos with this whole new thing. And I think the Broncos are incredible, but it's just so much newness there as well. New coaching, new quarterback. You got all these new schemes and new setups. It's just I'm not sure if that's going to immediately unfold on the field and gel. So I do think the Chargers and the Raiders are first and second. It's so tough. I'm going to go Chargers, Raiders, Broncos, Chiefs.
I would say the same, except maybe just flip the top two.
Just flip the top two with the Raiders first. So Raiders, Chargers, Broncos, Chiefs.
Yeah, Raiders. I mean, look at last year. They went 8-4 in the conference, and they're only that much better now.
There you go, guys. So spicy take. I mean, so if that's the case, I mean, we're talking about the Raiders. I think Carter and I looked the other day. Rookie ticket autos for Devontae Adams are still around $150. This is lower than what the modern guys are. Jamar Chase, the limited supply, going around $1,000. You got the Justin Jeffersons going for $300 to $400. So there's definitely value in Devontae Adams' rookie card. Now it's not the young, flashy, shiny object, and that's what we see drive a lot of the market is that unknown, right? And that's why, for example, Jerry Jeudy's rookie cards are more demanded, more popular than Cortland Sutton's. So it's just one of those things that's kind of, it factors in a lot, and that fantasy doesn't necessarily factor in. It does factor in when you look at dynasty rankings. They factor in the player's age because you have more time. You're stuck with that player. Like, you have more time before you need to get rid of them because you need to stack up your team to try and win down the road, like almost like a real NFL franchise. However, in cards, you're really focused on the youngest guy. The young guys will give you the highest potential for financial growth in the card. And that quick, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not necessarily that, the newer, shinier, younger guy is per se the better investment. I mean, I'd probably rather have, Devontae Adams rookie ticket auto than pretty much any of the younger guys out right now. But you got to understand with the Devontae Adams card, it's probably going to be a bit more of a longer hold than some of the young guys. Because with the young guys, they're going to fluctuate a lot more because some of them haven't hit their ceiling yet.
Very true. They haven't hit their ceiling, and we're all chasing that ceiling, that unknown ceiling that could be, generational. So who do you got for the AFC East? I think we both agree on maybe a couple of these picks, but I want to see where the Dolphins move to in your rankings. What are you looking at for AFC East, guys?
I think that it's pretty safe to say Bills still finishing first. And actually, I would go with the Dolphins in second, and then the Patriots, Jets. Now, the Jets will have a better record than last year, but they're just not better than those other three teams quite yet.
Yeah, it's definitely Bills. It's definitely Bills for me. For some reason, I feel like the Patriots are still going to find a way to win more games than the Dolphins, but it's going to be very close. If the Dolphins, this new offense that the Dolphins are going to roll out, this cat, Mike McDaniels, I don't know, man. He seems to be putting something together down there. It's very interesting. I'm very excited. I think a lot of people are going to get really excited about Tua. I've already seen his demand go up. There's been a lot of volume at like kind of like that that Jalen Hurts-ish type of price range for his cards. And I see those going up over the course of the next couple months. You know, they've improved the O-line. They brought in all these weapons, the new coach. So people are going to get excited about the Dolphins. And I think I could see a lot of people projecting them to win more games than the Patriots. Although Patriots, it just like, I don't know, it's one of those things where it's hard for me to see the Patriots with the Bill Belichick still there finishing under 500. You know, I don't know.
I think that in all things, the law of averages comes into play, right? And, you know, Mac Jones is an excellent game manager, but you can't manage a game if you get down too far, which I think with losing J.C. Jackson, which was like their best defensive component, you know, if you look down the stretch, the defense was not as effective late in the season as they were at the beginning of the season. So I'm going to stick by my story: Bills, Dolphins, Patriots, Jets in that order.
Yeah, I think we're pretty much in agreement there, except I'm basically sticking with the rankings from 2021. So that's a fun one though. I mean, because definitely the Patriots and Dolphins are going to be battling it out there, and you never know, the Jets could sneak in there, and like it could be Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots.
True.
You know,
I mean the Jets, the only thing holding them back at this point, I mean, Michael Carter's injury really hurt them, and you know, Zach Wilson didn't really come on until late in the season. They could absolutely, you know, maybe finish 500, which could put them in second or third, but you know, there's too many unknowns at this point to say so.
Yeah, they're going to be definitely
video, Andy. You know, maybe halfway through the season.
Yeah. All right. So AFC North. Defending Super Bowl contenders in the Bengals. Total, you know, came out of left field from 2021. Steelers have finally moved on from Big Ben. Right now, looks like Mitchell Trubisky is going to get the start in 2022. Potentially, maybe they draft a quarterback, and there's a quarterback competition that gets pretty heated in August between Trubisky, Rudolph, Haskins, and whoever they draft. You've also got the Browns who brought in Deshaun Watson. I got a little scared today with the tweet that there was another grand jury that wanted to indict him, and then it got dropped. And it was like, you know, it's like this roller coaster. But I think he still definitely gets suspended for the first half. And Baker is technically still hanging around. He hasn't found a home yet. So very interesting there. What do you got for the AFC North?
I actually have it the exact same way it is right now, and here's why. I normally would rank the Browns much higher, but I don't think, like you said, Deshaun Watson starts the season, and because of that, they probably finish the season strong, but I think they come out of the gates pretty brutally.
Yeah, I think they come out of the gates brutally. I think you're right there. Even though they do have a good O-line, good run game, it's possible they could win a couple games, but I think they're going to have a fairly difficult schedule just being in the AFC North. They're going against like teams with good coaches that even though, you know, the Ravens at 8-9, I mean, how many games did the Ravens lose last year that came down to a 2-point conversion attempt at the end of the game that was just off the fingertips of Mark Andrews or Marquise Brown or something? You know, that was just the craziest thing. I remember the look on John Harbaugh's face after some of those failed 2-point attempts, where if he would have just kicked the field goal, would have gone to overtime. And, you know, and I saw the Titans submit a proposal to change the rules to where both teams get a second opportunity, regardless of whether or not it's a touchdown. So I think that would be really cool. I think that's a really real possibility. We see the overtime rules change in 2022, but regardless, I think I kind of see the this one's tough. I think it could unfold the way it is now. I think the Browns do come on strong the second half, and they do got some pieces around them. It's just going to be really close. The Bengals, I think, have done a really good job of improving their offensive line. They've added several pieces, including our guy from Tampa, Alex Kappa, on that offensive line. I know they've added like 3 other offensive, like second tier, like pretty solid offensive linemen. So they're doing a really good job of improving their offensive line to protect Joe Burrow, and that offense is going to be nasty in 2022.
I gotta chime in on the Steelers commentary. Honestly, they were 9-7-1 last year, and Big Ben is a future Hall of Famer, great leader, but they didn't end up in second in the division because of Big Ben. They ended up there because of the defense, and they ended up there because of the run game. Period. And Trubisky, whether you're a fan of the guy or not, is an upgrade over ancient Big Ben. Not necessarily prime Big Ben, but Big Ben last year, and they could be the sneaky team in that division, honestly.
Thank you for the contribution there, First Catch. We appreciate you, sir. Hey, show the people, show First Catch whose jersey you got on there, Steve.
Yeah, there we go.
Hey, my man's got the Trubisky 2022 breakout for Trubisky. Hey, look, Trubisky is so humble. He's got such an incredible work ethic. You put him in that system with some of the best coaches in the league. Najee Harris, the weapons, Chase Claypool, Pat Freiermuth. Let's go. Deontay Johnson. Let's go. I think the Steelers can maintain that. So I mean, I kind of see.
I was gonna say Trubisky has something that he never had in Chicago, and he had it in Buffalo, but he wasn't a starter, and that's good leadership. That is strong organization around him, a stable offensive coordinator. He really got the shaft playing here, and he's going into an environment, a winning environment, a stable environment, and I honestly think he's going to do well. I know people that didn't like him in Chicago that think he's going to do well this year, so that should tell you something.
Yeah, he was the quarterback baby that Chicago didn't want at the time, but the GM wanted it, And so, I mean, this is his shot. I mean, and a lot of people forget that if you go back and watch Trubisky's film from the preseason with the Bills last year, he looked incredible. And I remember whenever he got another shot in Chicago, like he won out, got the starting job back. He just never has had the infrastructure, the support. So this is a big opportunity for him. I think people are going to get excited about Trubisky coming out of the gate in September. To the point where like his prism's still going around $50. I mean, if you compare, I'm not saying he is Mahomes, he's Deshaun Watson in that category, but I'm like 2017 product is pretty scarce and it's really nice. The gem rate on those prisms are really high, silver standard out of the box. I think that those cards go up to at least like a triple digits, like $100. Rookie ticket autos probably go up to $500-600. Something pretty respectable for a 2017 product, quarterback rookie card.
Yeah, I mean, they play a team like Cleveland week 1 and win, and that's it. His cards are going to hit triple digits, in my opinion.
You know what else is interesting with all these moves, right? With all these franchise players, a potential Hall of Fame, like a lot of like Hall of Fame caliber players that have moved teams this offseason. I think we talk about 2022 draft class being quarterback weak and that being bad for the market, but all of these Hall of Fame caliber players moving teams, people are going to want their card. They're going to want Deshaun Watson in a Browns uniform. They're going to want Trubisky in the Steelers. They're going to want Russell Wilson in the Broncos jersey. They're going to want Matt Ryan in the Indianapolis jersey. They're going to want Devontae Adams in a Raiders jersey. Tyreek Hill in the Miami. So, like, and I didn't even mention everybody. This is like there's more guys than I even mentioned. I think that's going to be really good for 2022 product. Hopefully, Panini is like, okay, yeah, let's make sure we print those guys in their new uniforms because that's going to drive a lot of demand for 2022 product to get these guys in their new team outfit.
Yeah, it kind of has the rookie card effect when players end up in a new uniform. There's I already see. Look at the influx of guys like Khalil Mack and their rookie card values. Now imagine when he has a Genesis or another rare case hit type card, right? In a new uniform, that's going to be very sought after. And the coaches in Pittsburgh about Mason starting. Well, the problem with Mason is he's not really starter caliber, so that's why he's not starting. But I think he'll hold the clipboard pretty good this year.
Yeah, I want to pivot to this question real quick. We're kind of going through this because this is really interesting. You see this comment here from Joel. Is there even going to be an optic this year? I still have not seen a release date. I haven't seen even artist proofs. Like, I know they're dealing with supply chain issues, and that's kind of unavoidable. You know, COVID really effed a lot of stuff up globally, and supply chain issues with getting glue and certain kinds of paper and refractor film or whatever is definitely messed stuff up. But like, do you think this is ever going to change? And like, how do you think this is going to impact the football card market going forward?
You know, that's actually one of our mailbag questions.
Yeah. I was looking for
I'm
the exact question.
Excited to answer that one whenever you want me to.
Yeah. So only fantasy cards. His exact question was, what are your thoughts on main sports line products seeming to be released later and later, and at what point will they catch up, if ever?
Yeah. So answering that mailbag question, I think we might be getting the runaround. And I've said this in a previous stream. I don't necessarily think that there was supply chain issues. You have to remember they're transitioning from company to company. Who owns the trading cards now is Fanatics, right? And I think that that's probably the real reason. If you look, Fanatics has already released their first trading card set. It's not sports cards, right? It's some weird Gary V illustration cards. They came out like a week ago, right? But that tells you that Fanatics is producing cards. And I think that that's the real reason for the delay.
They don't own Panini.
No, but they bought Fanatics bought the trading card market last year, so they'll be producing the trading cards going forward.
So do you think that Panini is potentially working a deal with Fanatics in the background? And it just hasn't been announced yet, and they're going to take over the manufacturing of Optic? What are they going to release? 2021 Optic in like 2022? Like, it's crazy.
The problem is it did set everything back, but I think that that's just going to cause like either a jumble on the front end of the next year product, or maybe they skip out on a couple sets like Score and some of the early releases where you got players in the college uniforms, like 3 or 4 or 5 consecutive sets with college player uniform cards. Maybe they just skip that outright because Prism's already coming out with the college uniform cards, and maybe they just roll straight into like Prism, Optic, and then a couple months later, then the rest of the sets start coming out. The ones that most people are really trying to go for.
Yeah, man, it's wild. It's wild, but this has been the oddest thing because it makes it so difficult to invest in 2021 players. It's caused a lot of cards from 2021 that you wouldn't see get this inflated. For certain elite players, get extremely inflated because of the limited supply in the major releases. So when the dam does finally bust open, a lot of those values of those cards out now could potentially go down unless they're very rare. But that's why you guys are on the quest, and I know a lot of you guys are, you're aware of that. You're aware of that, and so you're altering your strategy, being very selective of the cards you choose. I would love to get Justin Fields Optic rated rookie too, and the only ones you're getting right now are Optic previews, which, as Joel's pointed out before, those are pretty rare.
Love me some Optic previews, and I like the fact that they added a couple different color variations this year.
Yeah, nice little short print insert of that base Donruss set. All right, let's talk about this because some of the most exciting teams, one of the most exciting teams, AFC South. Let's go back to our rankings real quick because it also parlays with this question from Mark Speltz on the YouTube channel. And his question was, as we go through our rankings of AFC South to see if the Jags move up at all, with so many players to choose from, what's the best way to narrow your investment choices down? I know you don't want all your eggs in one basket, but what is a good threshold?
You definitely want variety, and I think that goes without saying. That was already mentioned in the question. You want to, if you're looking for, from an investment standpoint, you definitely want younger players. You want players that are either rookies or second-year guys that are either already starting or have a path to starting either this season or next season. Um, Guys that you have a gut feeling for, or guys that maybe you saw play in college that you know have that potential. For me, it's hard to explain. Like gut feeling goes a long way, right? You gotta trust your gut.
Totally derailed your train of thought.
That's the best comment of the day, right?
Clyde,
Yeah,
no, wait. No, this is not Clyde Wood.
Stick with the the certain sets, and you know what? I think this year specifically, the divisions are going to be a lot more balanced, and it's going to make investing that much more interesting because I think you won't see a separation in the divisions till a little later in the year. For most of the divisions, with the exception of the Bucks division in the South, where there's like a massive skill discrepancy between the other teams.
So Jags, I think the Texans finished last. They're going to struggle. I think the Colts actually win this division this year with Matt Ryan. I think that's a big upgrade. I think you're going to have a lot more consistent play from Matt Ryan. You had a couple boom games from Carson Wentz. I think you get a lot more consistent play from Matt Ryan this year. And I think the Colts take this division, then the Titans, then the Jags. I think they improve, but not as much as people expect, just with all the newness there as well. And then the Texans in last place.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Colts, Titans, Jags, Texans, I still think are interchangeable. I'm not sold on the Trevor Lawrence saga yet. And Davis Mills will probably ball out, but let's be honest, his defense isn't helping the team out. So even if the man throws 3 touchdowns a game, I don't think they're going to win very many games.
So let's pop over to eBay because K&M Sports Cards from the Discord, shout out to K&M Sports Cards, he wants to know your thoughts on the Mosaic brand. He feels like it's an underrated set at this point, or is it just because it's the best base set available right now? And this also fits perfectly with your comment before the show. You and I were talking about Tom Brady Mosaic Cards 2020-21. That also fits in perfectly with all of these 2022 players on new teams, Hall of Fame caliber players on new teams, and people wanting to collect their cards in those new team uniforms. So what's your thoughts on Mosaic right now, Steve?
It's honestly one of my favorite sets. It really is. I think that the Mosaic Prisms, which is the silver with the Mosaic background, I think that those are some of the most attractive cards out there. The Genesis is just so cool. I really like the honeycomb that they added. And then you have a second case hit variation with the peacock cards. I think they're really nice. And I did, mention to you about the Tom Brady thing. Tom Brady, his Bucks cards last year seems like they're worth 2, 3, 4 times what they were this year. And it could just be because it was like his first year in the uniform or whatever. But as far as the rest of the players go and the rookie cards, I've actually seems like this year's Mosaic is higher valued, at least as far as what people are paying for it.
Oh, yeah, because I think it's considered a major set without Prism, Optic, Select, with only having the Mosaic and Donruss rated rookie and a few others, right? But this is a nice, like, major chromium finish base set, and you have a lot of parallels. They've made Mosaic with like 65, 66 parallels, something like that. They've increased the number of inserts. So I think for Trevor Lawrence, for example, you have about 100 cards available for him. They got rid of the third base card variation for this year. So now you still have the NFL debut and the base rookie card. But I think this is like a major set right now. And I do like the design. Don't get me wrong. I do think it's an underrated set from the aspect the design looks good. I think it just hasn't been accepted as much by the hobby unless you look at like the serial numbered and the autograph variations, the more rare variations, the PSA 10 variations, stuff like that. I still see a lot of people buying it. It just doesn't garner the same value as Optic or Prism does.
It's interesting. If you look at the choice choice prism. They did that last year with the green, red, and silver, which they did again this year, but they added one where it's red and yellow, and then the team color, and it's numbered out of 80. And from what I've seen, those do really well. And in some cases, I've seen them sell higher than other lower serial numbered versions. And I think it's just because they look really nice.
Ooh, congratulations to Derek, man. He hit a Herbert stained glass. I would say, dude, these stained glasses look really sick. I love the stained glass design from this year's set, more so than last year. Last year was very like old school church, and I guess this is too, but I like the circle windows better. Last year was like an oval arch, you know, and this one's with the circle designs. I don't know, something about that. That looks really cool.
There's only one thing I would change, and they got something right, but they could maybe change it for next year. The Touchdown Masters insert. Are you familiar?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, they had it last year, right? And I thought those cards were atrocious looking. Now this year's I think are phenomenal, right? And they actually finally incorporated the big head, like the NBA Jam style big head, right? I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, what I think they could have did is in the MLB product, the big head cards, right, are SSSP. They are extremely rare. And I thought that would have been a nice touch to maybe have them be a little more scarce rather than have like so many parallels.
That would be nice, yeah. But see, they're like, okay, we know this is going to be popular. It's one of their more popular inserts. I do like the big head. I was wondering that. I was like, there's no way Tom Brady's head is that big, you know, compared to his body. So that's funny. They did the fat heads on him, which is pretty cool. But yeah, they printed variety, like multiple color parallels of an insert. And yeah, I think they should have left it to one or two parallels and made it serial numbered. Like even if they serial numbered it out of like 299 or 399 or something.
You know, I'm a big fan of short print cards that aren't per se serial numbered, like the Genesis, the Peacock, and then there's actually one of our mailbag questions about that. But I do really like those, and the problem is that I'll give you an example: Stafford rookies, right, out of Topps. Now Topps doesn't do a lot of, they do serial numbers, but they don't always do serial numbers. Some of their most rare cards, in fact, are just short print image variations. And I really like that because it's one of those if you know things, right? So when you have people from the current era of hobby collecting Stafford rookies, these cards are getting undervalued because they don't even know what they have.
Yay, man. That is very true. Very true. And it's funny how that can pop up down the road, you know? Speaking of not knowing what you have, I've got a package here. We're going to open this package up now, Steve. I think you've got a package too. Let's go ahead and transition to opening some mail, and then we'll pop back over to the mailbag. Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
I have no idea what I have in mind.
I'm actually popping in my phone camera here. Give me 1 second, y'all. Just click on this. See if I could do this. Allow mic cam access. We want to mute. Yeah, mute. Cam settings, camera. We're gonna get the front, the back camera.
I'm gonna laugh if I have multiple packages. So if this one's not a football card, then I'll open another one up.
Cam is there. We go. Display name, card cam.
Aha! It is a football card. I think you guys will appreciate this one. It's a guy that I've talked about on the show, and that I feel is still being slept on. If you can see what we got here, I'll go first since Andy's still getting set up. I got a Obsidian Dallas Goedert, numbered out of 75. And numbered out of 60, Dallas Goedert.
Oh, nice. Some Dallas Goedert, man. I'm really
I
excited
really like
about his outlook
Obsidian,
this year.
and I like the color etching. I think it looks really cool. And I like how the backgrounds are like, I don't know, like pencil drawings almost, you know?
So let me know if I start getting like any kind of feedback on the mic here on my phone.
So far,
But
so good.
let's see. There we go. Let's see what we got here. I have no clue what this is.
Better not be a bench warmers card.
Oh, actually, I'm excited about this, man. I bought a few David Njoku's, and the deal was too good on this one to pass up. I got excited. This was actually before Deshaun Watson signed with the Browns. This was earlier in the week, and the speculation was the Browns were in the conversation. I was like, you know what? Even with Austin Hooper out of there, I think David Njoku's stock goes up. And he's so athletically gifted. The 1 week that Austin Hooper was out last year, I mean, he had a boom game. He had like over 100 receiving yards. He had a big boom game. He's so athletically talented. I like this, even though it's a lesser known set, Panini preferred. It's, you know, his jersey number like big in the background, plus it's numbered 24 out of 99, sticker auto. I have to pull up the price I got this for. I think it was like really cheap.
I like the look of that card, Andy.
Right? Doesn't that look nice?
Yeah, I don't think I don't know, you know, obviously there's something to say with certain sets being preferable, but, you know, when a card looks a certain way like that one does, like it has the eye appeal, you know, and it has an auto and it's serial numbered, and it's obviously a Panini product. So, I mean, it's got most of the boxes checked.
Yeah, and so I got this for $10. I couldn't resist. I don't remember if it was a buy it now or a an auction. I think it was just a straight buy it now, and this was before the news came out. And I was like, no, I want to get some David Njoku stock, and you can see the condition is really good on this card as well. Like, man, that would look good in an SGC slab. I like that design,
that's a
honestly.
sharp card, man. Great condition too.
It's pretty thick, you know. Solid, you know, solid card stock. Yeah, I'm really happy about that at that price point. I could easily see myself flipping this for like $30, you know.
Yeah, I think even if it takes, you know, till later in the season, till Deshaun starts playing, I think that's really where you're going to notice his value take a huge jump up with, you know, with an elite quarterback there. The Njoku's always had a high profile skill set, but he hasn't really been in a great fantasy friendly situation, you know.
Boom. That was fun. That was a good package. So
what are the odds we both pulled tight ends though?
Hey man, it's that kind of stream. That's why you tune in. That's why you tune in to the Football Card Quest. Mailbag questions. So this is an interesting one because, you know, I'm big on selling cards shown in a one-touch case, but not actually sending the one-touch case to the buyer. Now, I do specify in the description that the card does not ship in the one-touch case. I also take a picture of the card out of the one-touch case. First pictures of the card in a one-touch. Second picture is the card raw. Third picture is the back of the card raw. That's my standard MO on my eBay listings. And his question is, if cards are pictured in one-touch cases, is it wrong to expect the cards to be shipped in the one-touch case? And maybe it's a little controversial. You guys already know my opinion on this. So I want to hear your opinion, though, Steve.
Well, we'll get into that right now then, because the one-touch effect, which we've talked about in other videos, is a real thing. I can tell you myself, when I look at a card, I'll sometimes be like, ooh. And it's just the same card I saw yesterday that I didn't ooh over, but simply because it's in a nicer one-touch case. So that is definitely a real thing. Now, I have listed one-touch case cards in the description, writing the same thing you did, right? But there's actually a lot of times I list the card with the one-touch, and I specify in the description that it does come with the one-touch as kind of like a sales enhancement, if you will. And I think that is a good selling point. Maybe if you have a card that it hasn't sold as quickly as you'd like it to, what's it going to cost you? $2 to move the card. If it's worth it to you, definitely do it. But I have bought cards that had a picture of the one touch, didn't get the one touch, and I was like, yo, what's up? And then I went back, read the listing, only to find out I just kind of got excited, bought the card, didn't read. It is what it is. If it said it, I'm not mad, right? If it didn't say it, maybe I would have been mad. Now I can tell you, this gentleman that sent me these Goddard cards, I bought from him last week, and he sent me 2 Goddards in one touches that weren't pictured in one touches. So that's the first time it's ever worked the other way around for me. So that's kind of a pleasant surprise.
That is a very pleasant surprise. And then I do have a couple cards, especially I got a couple jersey patch cards, because those are such a pain in the ass to get in top loaders. And they're so risky, even at the fat top loaders. Like, it's so risky to damage them in penny sleeves and top loaders, the corners. I like having a nice, like, fat, like 35 point or whatever that was, 35. I think it's 30, or maybe it's 85 point or whatever. You know, the fat one-touch cases that you can put the jersey patch cards in. Those are nice, especially if it's a nicer card. Like, I think that's kind of the way to go. It's like extra insurance, nice little benefit, you know, spending up.
I've bought a couple recently for the same reason, because the last thing you want to do is damage a card you're trying to sell, or even keep for yourself, for that matter, trying to shove it into a top loader. But if you guys are going to sell a couple cards that are higher value, it wouldn't hurt you to put them in a one-touch, because it definitely does show that you want to protect the card, not just for you, but maybe for the buyer too.
Yes, sir. What's up, Top Choice Sports Cards in the house? Justin can't sleep. He's glued on the quest, man. Football, man. So much football going around. Can't sleep. Where's my screen? There's my screen. All right, who do you got the NFC East? I'm curious to hear your thoughts on the shakeup in the NFC. I'm just going to run through these divisions really quick, because I got a couple more questions that I want to go through that I think are really juicy. And I have an auction to share with you guys, an high value auction Snipe to share with you guys before the end of this live stream. Who you got for the NFC East, Steve?
I think the boys still win it. I think that, you know, you could argue that Amari Cooper, a guy that skilled, leaving the team hurts them a lot, but I don't necessarily think that it does. You had enough guys on that team that can get the job done. And then all you have to do is just necessarily lean on those guys just a hair harder, especially with Schultz really emerging as a receiving option. I think that this is the year that CD really breaks out. And Dak, I think Dak is going to finally come out like fully, like right before he got hurt 2 years ago, fully, like maybe, you know, the high 30, low 40 touchdown range ish. But as far as the rest of the division goes, I think that Eagles and Washington, though improved, will still finish in that order.
Yeah, very interesting. I kind of think so too. I think that it's gonna shake. I think it's gonna shake out the same way it is right now.
I think the Giants' offense will be better this year, but it's not going to make a difference. They're just that far behind with everyone else.
NFC North. Now, I think this one may have the most controversial shakeup in 2022 out of all the NFC divisions. We got Aaron Rodgers extended on Green Bay, but he lost his main man, Devontae Adams. Went to the Las Vegas Raiders. You got Kirk Cousins back in Minnesota. You got Adam Thielen. You got Justin Jefferson back. Dalvin Cook. The Bears, Justin Fields, Darnell Mooney, lost Allen Robinson, but you know, the Bears have they're in clear rebuild mode. I think it's safe to say. I'm sure your expectations aren't super high, right?
Not the slightest bit. I mean, I'm really excited for 2022 football. I'm not specifically excited about 2022 Bears football. And I think that anyone, if your team was in a rebuild, would feel the same way, especially if you're in a rebuild while you have a young quarterback that you're trying to build around. I don't know. Maybe it was just time for it, or maybe they should have went the other direction, and said, hey, we have 2-3 more years of these guys being good with the defense. Let's make something happen. But once you trade away most of your defense, it's a little too late to start trying to, make it happen. And it would have been great. It would have been a great year to rebuild with Devontae Adams gone. I honestly don't think the Packers are as dominant anymore.
I don't think the Packers are as dominant anymore. I also think the Lions are going to be a lot better in 2022. Not just DJ Chark, I think you've got a solid. I think offense is improving, but they've improved the building blocks in the trenches, man. We're talking draft capital. The Lions are about to improve some more in the upcoming draft in the trenches, and they've got weapons on the outside, weapons at running back with Swift. And then you've got Quintez Cephas, Amon-Ra St. Brown. You've added DJ Chark, TJ Hawkinson at tight end. So, and Jared Goff has, he went to a Super Bowl with the Rams. He could throw the ball over 4,000 yards. I mean, Jared Goff is a gunslinger. He can throw it. It's yet to be seen. I don't think they draft a quarterback. I think maybe they draft like a deep, a sleeper guy, maybe second, third, fourth round type of guy, but I don't think they're going to go out and try and get one of these like a Malik Willis or something. It's possible, but I think the Lions, one way or another, are going to be a lot better in 2022. So from that standpoint, it's I still got to go Packers at 1, but I think it's going to be Packers, Vikings, Lions, Bears next year instead of the Lions on bottom.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the Lions might actually get into a little late season battle with the Vikings for that second spot. I know that seems like a bit of a reach to some people, but if you look late last season, they beat teams like Arizona, right? They beat the Vikings last year, and they didn't have Hawkinson, and Swift was just coming back from an injury. So they're not great, but they are definitely getting better. And when you have that many young players on your team that are still improving, it does raise the ceiling quite a bit. I think the Lions could potentially finish in second. Bears are going to be in last almost for sure.
There you go. You heard it from one of the biggest Bears fans there is, guys. NFC South, is there any question that the Bucs just don't walk into the playoffs? Like, if you're Tom Brady, like, how do you not come back? I think it was like people should have seen that all along. Like, the NFC South is in shambles with, Tom Brady easily has the ability to now waltz into the playoffs in 2022. That's not biased at all, by the way.
No. And actually that was my take that I wrote up for this segment too. And, the sleeper, there was another question about sleepers, and I'll just kind of touch on that a little bit too. And I think the Saints are still a sleeper. We said a few weeks ago you thought that the Saints were in rebuild mode. I don't really think that they are, and I think that they still finish in second. If anybody gives them any challenge at all, it's actually going to be the Panthers. But Falcons are just kind of, they're not going to do it, unfortunately. Mariota, I like the guy. I don't know that he's the answer. But I'm excited to see what he can do as a starter. I am, but I think that there's just too many weapons away from being competitive.
Yeah, too many weapons. Defense is lacking too much. It's gonna and with Winston come back to the Saints, I think that there's some definite potential in that offense. Michael Thomas cards are still super cheap. And his prisms are more rare than even 2017. You're talking 2016 product, first year optics. That product is wonderful, man. I love that product. Michael Thomas cards are so cheap. You're talking number 1 wide receiver, 2017, 2018, top 3 wide receiver. I mean, what's not to like about him with Jameis Winston? with speedsters in that offense like Deontay Harris and
Traquan Smith.
Yeah, Traquan Smith. He's still there, right?
Yeah, Marquez Callaway.
Marquez Callaway.
Who knows what their running game's going to look like this year? But at least for now, you can just assume that everyone's going to be back for next year.
And then the NFC West, I think it's, up between the Rams and Cardinals, but we don't know if the 49ers are going to come back, run it back. They've got a very good team as well. I want to get your quick take on the NFC West.
So I think a lot of this is going to hinge on who starts at quarterback for the Niners, I'll be honest. If it's Garoppolo, things should shake out about the same way as they did last year, although the Rams, I think, won't lose as many games. But if Trey Lance starts, I could see that the Niners maybe are a 500 team.
Wow, that's big, man. That's big. So you don't have a lot of faith in Trey Lance. If that's the case, then Trey Lance's cards go down from where they're at now, because Trey Lance is trading for around the same as Trevor Lawrence right now in terms of rookie card values.
I got in a few contenders breaks, and I can tell you that the spot for Trey Lance has several times that I've seen gone for more than Trevor Lawrence, which is, to me, I don't know. It seems too speculative to spend, $1,000 on a spot in a break for a guy that is completely unproven.
Yeah, very, very speculative, very risky. I'm not even convinced that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan are sold on Trey Lance. We haven't seen Jimmy Garoppolo move. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo hasn't signed somewhere. I don't exactly think that the 49ers may bring him back. They may bring him back and have Trey Lance sit again. I think his card values could go down. Trey Lance could be a nice buy come October, November. That's really interesting. Obviously, I think it's no doubt Rams are going to win that division. I think Cardinals are still going to be really good. Cardinals are going to be solid, but I think they're going to struggle more. It's going to be close, but I think it's going to be the same way it finished. Now, in the latest rumor, I don't know if you heard this, but Colin Kaepernick's been working out. 32-year-old Colin Kaepernick, fighter for social injustice, has been working out with the Seahawks, Tyler Lockett lately. There's been rumors of him signing with them. I think that could be a big boost. We saw Colin Kaepernick's card spike whenever all those incidents happened with George Floyd and stuff back in 2020. Colin Kaepernick's card spiked from that alone. He wasn't even in the NFL. So I definitely could see Colin Kaepernick's 2011, I believe, was his rookie year. Those cards could spike. It's very risky, right? If he doesn't sign, they don't do anything. But he signs with the Seahawk on a 1-year type of deal as a transition quarterback. I think his cards are definitely going to go up. That's a risky play that people out there could take.
The coaching staff actually sounds like they're pretty high on Drew Lock. But I think that there's a chance that they still trade for a quarterback. I just can't see the Kaepernick thing happening. I think that might be like a what's the word I'm looking for here? Like I don't know, hype play. Something to just stir a little buzz. I just can't see him coming back. He's tried to get back into the league so many times, and he had a short stint where he was outstanding. I mean, call it like Tebow time, basically. Like, he had a short stint where he was amazing, and then there was just a drastic fall off where the league figured out how to play against him, and he just was probably one of the least effective quarterbacks in the NFL after that. So I just can't see it. I mean, it would be a great story, but I just can't see it happening.
All right. So we got one more question from the mailbag before we share our auction snipe for the evening. Guys, if you've enjoyed this live stream, make sure you hit that thumbs up button for us. And if you're new here, of course, hit that subscribe button. Don't wait around. But actually, wait till the end of the stream and then hit that button. But you should be able to do it while you're watching, actually, now that I think about it. Steve, this is from 449 Todd in the Discord. How does one guesstimate the rarity of a card that does not have a serial number?
Very good question. So a lot of cards, we talked about Mosaic earlier. A lot of cards will just tell you in the listing, whether it's a case hit or or if it's SSP or whatever. But if you really want to know how rare it is, there are some websites like Cardboard Connection that you can go to, and they will give you a full breakdown of the product, the checklist, all the inserts, the rarity of the inserts, as far as their odds of getting them. I would definitely go that route first. But for the most part, most cards aren't more rare than case hits. Sometimes there's like, I don't know. I can tell you for sure that kabooms are claimed to be a case hit. I've watched enough case breaks to know that they're not case hits. They're definitely rarer than that. So there's no way to know because there's no printed odds on the packs. But I would definitely check with Cardboard Connection. Or there's other websites like Beckett that have checklists as well.
Yeah, checklists are important. You definitely want to know pack odds, or like the hobby box odds, like how many of certain cards, and just different variety. Ultimately, if you're trying to figure out the print run, this is a very difficult task. It's like a wild goose chase, but you could spend countless of hours and count up all the available listings, but take a couple different players. Try and find a player that not a lot of people are demanding right now that was also printed in all the variety of products. So like someone drafted within the first 3 to 4 rounds of NFL draft, and go to eBay, go to ComSeed, go to StarStock, go to Facebook Marketplace, go to Twitter, go everywhere. Sports card shows, scream from the top of your lungs. You want to know, find every single one that's out there. I mean, that's really the only way to do it. You got to find, I mean, you could, like, if you're just doing it at your house, go to eBay and these different websites and just count up how many available they have for sale to get an idea. And I've kind of done that before just to get an idea which one is more rare. Taking a player like Keyshawn Vaughn from 2020, for example, which one's more rare? Optic Holo, Prism Silver, Field Level Silver, etc., to get an idea of the scarcity, and then from there you can kind of get a generalized idea.
We can definitely add to your response as well, and I think if you look into the amount of graded cards of that card as well, it should give you a little bit of a barometer. If there's fewer graded cards of a specific set, you could make an educated guess that there's probably less of them. If you think about a key player like a Tom Brady or something like that, and of Prism he's got 25 total graded cards, but of Optic he's only got 12. Who wouldn't get their Tom Brady if the card was rare graded, right? So I think that's a good way to check.
All right, guys, it's time for auction Snipe. I've got a couple. I've got actually 2. We'll see if we have time. I'm gonna at least share this one with you guys, because this one, I think, if you guys aren't watching it, I think this is a good one to watch. It doesn't have any watchers right now. Let me pull up my screen. I think it's definitely someone that's gonna kind of go up in value in the short term here with the monster news that we've had. It may be not the guy that you're thinking about in Tua. This is Miko Hardman on the Kansas City Chiefs. But I love this 2019 rookie ticket auto, man. And this card is freaking dirt cheap right now. Now it is an auction. It's probably going to go up a little bit. But it's only got one bid. It's got no watchers either, Steve. And this card just looks sick. I love the design of 2019 rookie ticket auto. Solid signature from Miko. What do you think this goes up to, Steve?
Is that one numbered? I can't tell. Is that one numbered?
I do not think so. This is Optic Silver Prism, not numbered.
Now, if you asked me a couple days ago, I would have said $18 to $25, but he could be in line for a lot more work now. So I would say 25 to 32 probably would be my guess.
Yeah, 25-32. It'll be interesting to see if this one does go up. Now, I will say I'm noticing bottom left corner there on the corner. Bottom left corner, when you flip it around, it's bottom right corner. Looks a little soft. You can see it's kind of rounded on the back, the bottom right. You see that?
I do see that, yeah.
That's something, that's just like a little tiny detail that I noticed, imperfection on this card. But when you're flipping raw, there's a lot of people out there that'll never even notice that. Centering looks good. Centering looks really good on that. I got one more because I'm really big in 2019 right now. Now this one is definitely going to go up a little bit, guys. This is a gorgeous card. This man what also was not printed in a ton of product. It was taken middle third round, so and he's a tight end, so it wasn't printed in a ton. But Dawson Knox, I mean, yeah, they added OJ Howard. I don't think it's going to eat in Dawson Knox's target share too much. I still think he's going to be the tight end one, Buffalo playoff contender. They're going to make a deep run. Who doesn't want a blue optic rookie ticket auto Rambo Dawson Knox on the Buffalo Bills? Right now is super cheap. Is also numbered out of this 75.
34 washers though, but think about it. That tells you a lot about that card. That is a very sought after player. That is a very sought after set. It's serial numbered. It's color match. That's a pretty nice card for Dawson Knox.
Yeah, I think this thing shoots up to 50, 60 bucks where it ends. Little imperfections there around that rookie card logo. But hey, for a Bills fan, like this is a card that I'm tempted to even overpay on a little bit. I know it's not perfectly centered. Looks like a little bit of maybe surface imperfection around the rookie card logo, but it's numbered out of 75 and it's a blue rookie ticket auto. Not easy to come by, and getting that for I think you could probably pick it up around 50, 60. I still think that's a very fair price.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think that the base autos are probably going for around 30 right now. So I could see this going for quite a bit more than that.
Yeah, that's Dawson Knox's nickname is Rambo, man, because he wears that bandana around his head. That's the nickname he got. If you talk to Bills Mafia fans out there, Steve, man, this has been an action-packed, fun show, dude. I can't wait to do it again next week. We're gonna have a special guest on next week too, man. I'm excited to reveal who that is. I haven't even told you yet, man.
Oh, I know, man. I don't know what you're talking about, so it should be interesting. Am I gonna find out at the time of the show, or do I have some prep so I can ask some questions?
Oh, no, yeah. I'll give you prep, like 15 minutes.
All right, perfect.
All right, guys. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're not. It was fun hanging out with y'all tonight. I'll see you in that next video. Peace. Hitman out.
Oh.